Hi everyone, Flossy here, once again looking at more Eurovision songs. Favourite one's going to get 3 points, my least favourite one will get 1 point. So far I've looked at 27 songs, so I'm well over halfway through now. The first song I'm looking at today is Azerbaijan's song. It's by Aysel, and the song is Cross My Heart, but the cross is actually an X. At the moment for this I've only got the music video, and Azerbaijan's quite interesting. They started off very strong in Eurovision, but in the past few years they haven't done as well as before, but they have the best qualifier rate at the semi-finals. I think the only country that also has qualified from every other semi-final is Russia, but they've missed a year, so it's not like they've got as many years in a row, kind of a thing. It makes sense to me. This song is in English as well. For the actual song, I think it's got a nice dance beat. I think the chorus is quite good. It's like most of the songs at the moment. It's got a slower opening and then builds up. It's quite an uplifting song with a bit of a nice message. And the second half of the chorus, I can't work out what it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something. I think she had quite a nice tone to her voice. But obviously, vocally and for the live staging and performance, there's nothing to judge it on, so I don't know exactly how it would go live. I think overall it's a good song. To me, it dragged towards the end, because I was there thinking, okay, is this it for the song? And then right then, when I was thinking it was dragging, that was when it ended. So that was good timing for the song. It's probably my favourite Azerbaijan entry from the past few years. I don't know, last year it was interesting, and I appreciate last year's entry, but I wasn't a particular fan of it. It's just not my style. But with this one, I think it'll probably qualify like Azerbaijan normally does, but I don't know how well it will do. I do think it was a good song, and it actually reminds me a lot of Greece's song this year. The way she sang I Cross My Heart with the heart turning into a very long note is very similar to the chorus of Greece's song last year, where she was like, this is love, and the love was a very long note. But that kind of ties into the whole staging thing. I didn't think, well, with Greece's song last year, I thought it was a good song. I didn't think the staging was quite right. I thought it was a bit awkward, and I think this might be somewhat similar to it. Hopefully they can come up with some better staging and not a horse head like they did last year. The second song I'm looking at today is Belgium's song. It's by Scenic, and it's called A Matter of Time. The song's in English, and like before, there's no live performance that I can find, at least. Scenic was actually the first artist announced this year for Eurovision. So it was, and I think the song was actually one of the last, it was after a lot of national finals, I think this one was announced, so, the song was released. So it was kind of like this long build-up between announcing the artist and then actually hearing what the song was. For the song, I think it's got quite a haunting opening. It's interesting, the kind of, the melody, the instrumental part, background music of it kind of reminds me of a song from the 70s, from a soundtrack, maybe for a private detective type thing as they walk down the street. I don't know, it's interesting, but it works for her, so it's just has that kind of reminiscent type quality of it, which makes me laugh a bit. And then when it goes into the chorus, it kind of is almost like a James Bond song as well. And the chorus is actually very brief compared to the verses. The chorus is a lot more, what she's singing is a lot more faster paced than what she's singing in the verses. Obviously, no live performance so far, so I can't really talk about vocals, staging, or performance. She sounded nice in the video, so you never know. I think overall for this, it's one of the better songs of the year. Belgium are actually one of my favourite countries in Eurovision. I think they're becoming one of the big powerhouses almost. They came in, I think, 4th last year, I think they made the top 10 the year before, and the year before that they came in 4th again. So they're coming up with like this good track record in recent years. And I'm really liking where they're going at the moment. I think of all of the Belgium entries recently, it's not my personal favourite. I think my favourite is probably Rhythm Inside, and City Lights was brilliant, and so was What's the Pressure. But this is kind of, I don't know, I think it's going to probably grow on me, but initially hearing it, it's not my favourite of the 4 songs, but I still like it a lot. Last year, actually, the first time I heard City Lights when it was released, I wasn't that keen on it, and now I really like it. So, and I actually like this song more than I liked City Lights after the first listen. So, that's optimistic for it. It could be a grower for me, and it's good in terms of my initial impressions of it. The third song today is Bulgaria's song. It's by Equinox, and the song is called Bones. This song is in English, and once again, there's no live performance. This one doesn't even have a music video. It's got a lyric video. So this is kind of irritating for me today. It's like, there's nothing to judge on except for the actual song. Because when it's in Eurovision, it's more than just the song. You need a good song, but you need the whole package as well. So it's kind of irritating when you can't judge on all of that. In regards to the actual song, I think it's quite a cool song. It sounds quite current, and like the others, it has a slower opening, and I think it's quite an interesting song. I don't quite know what to make of it, but it's very interesting. There's also, during the chorus, even though I can't really comment on vocals, what they're going to be like live, but during the chorus there was some really good high notes, and I thought the harmonising was quite good throughout the whole thing. Overall, I think Bulgaria is somewhat similar to Belgium in that the past few years they have really upped their game. They've had, I think the past 2 years, each year has been their highest position so far. So it came in 4th in 2016, that was their highest position, and then last year it came in 2nd, that was its highest position. So I think Bulgaria is kind of going on track where they're going to win at some point in the near future. I'm not so sure if it's this year, but I think that's a good sign, and I think this song is continuing. Well, I don't think it might not necessarily win. I think it's continuing their trend of like being like Belgium, like almost a powerhouse. I am not too sure what to make of it, actually. It's bizarre. I do think it's a good song, and I can see really good elements of it, but I don't know what I think of it after the first listen personally, if I like it or not. I think it's got a lot of potential for me, and it's not an instant hit. It does come across as quite a cool, unique song, but I'm not quite sure what I think of it yet. I think it's probably going to be a grower again for me, but I do think, unlike some of the other songs I've heard where we don't have a live performance, this has the potential for a really kind of cool staging. I think it's kind of like dark and sort of not quite mystical, but that kind of thing. It has a potential for something really almost like Bulgaria's staging last year. I think just something quite dark and cool. I think you can see more where the staging will go for this than some of the other songs I've heard. So overall today, like I've said, there's no live performances today to look at, so that makes me sad. But I have to judge on just what my initial impressions of the songs were. So I'm only going to give 1 point to Azerbaijan. I just don't think it's as much of a standout as the other 2 entries. I do think it's good, and it has a good beat, but I think it's too similar to Greece last year, and as a result the staging might struggle if that's any similar. I don't dislike it, which is good, but it doesn't stand as well as the other 2 songs, I think. My 2 points are going to Bulgaria. Like I've said, it doesn't immediately stand out to me, But I do think it's a striking song. I don't think they'll do as well as last year, but you never know, because I think it's still a good song. And I think it does have potential. And it also has potential for me to like it more. I think it's just one of those things, when the album comes out, I'm just going to give it a few listens and then kind of form more of an opinion on it. So that means my 3 points are obviously going to Belgium. Like I've said, it's not my favourite of the recent Belgium entries, but I do like it. And I think, like Bulgaria, once again, it continues a trend of the entries being standouts. I just want to see what it would be like live and how it would be staged. It'll be interesting because the past 3 years for Belgium, I think, they've had actually teenagers representing them. And this is the first entry where, in 4 years, where it's someone over the age of 20. So it'll be interesting to see if someone who has a bit more experience, what they will be like. Because considering they were only teenagers, they knocked it out of the park. So it will be interesting to see if what more experience will bring to it. So as a result, Belgium is now joining Armenia, Switzerland, Spain, Romania, the Netherlands, Moldova, Italy, Denmark and Czech Republic with 3 points. And then Azerbaijan is joining Austria, Ukraine, Slovenia, San Marino, Montenegro, Malta, Hungary, Germany and Albania with only 1 point. Hopefully the next ones I look at will have live performances, but there are quite some interesting songs in here, so it's very optimistic. I've been Flossy. Ta-ta!